Thoughts from the Trail. I'm Scott Anderson.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thoughts from the Trail. I'm Scott Anderson, and I'm standing out here in the middle of the American Fork River, not because it really has anything to do with my message, just because I think it's a beautiful scene, and maybe the beauty and the calmness and the serenity will help open up our brains and be able to think calmly about today's topic. I'm going to start off today talking about a story that I heard from a monk, and I'm just going to do a small portion of the story and then change it a lot, actually. So the story starts with a captain piloting his boat in the fog, and then and the foggy conditions were really tough. You could hardly see, and then suddenly a boat hits his boat, and the captain of the boat gets really angry, and he can't wait to meet the captain of the other boat and chew him out for carelessly maneuvering his boat in the fog. Well, as the fog clears, he notices that the boat had no captain and that it was just drifting about on the water. And that brings us now into a little bit of a modification. If we think about the fact that we get faced with challenges in relationships, with work, and many different facets, and sometimes, just like the captain of that boat wanted to blame somebody or wanted to get angry about it, we have to think of the empty vessel that is adrift. And we are humans. I am, you are. Each of us carries with us pain and suffering and some type of challenge. All of us do have some type of challenge. And we likely have no idea what the challenge is. And in fact, sometimes we can be simply adrift ourselves because of the pain and drama and challenges that we are facing. So we could be in that fog and bumping into other things and other people and other situations. And we likely have no idea what the challenges are that other people are facing. So even when we encounter a challenge with someone else, and even if someone does something to damage our quote-unquote ship, we still have to be careful about the way we respond to that situation because we really don't know what's going on. So pain and trauma that other people may have, and even for ourselves, manifests itself differently for different people. And just like the captain of the boat who hit the fog, sometimes we want to lash out, and there really is no point in lashing out and yelling at the boat that is adrift or at the people who are adrift with their pain and trauma. This one is hard because when we get offended, by golly, we want to take care of it. We want to lash out. We want to have some type of resolution. And in fact, when we do so, it only makes the situation worse. The flames get hotter due to our response to the negative situation. And this is hard because it requires us, ourselves, we all have personal responsibility for our own emotions, even emotions that we think are caused by someone else, because that someone else doesn't get to deal with our emotions. Only we do. So when we unload a bucket of anger and frustrations upon somebody else, we may be just dumping that into a vessel that it cannot be received. And in fact, we may be making the situation worse. And there are times that all of us fail. We are sometimes that vessel that bumps into other people and gets them angry. So it's not just always things happening to us. We are sometimes, whether we know it or not, bumping into others and creating similar situations. And what I'm saying is, when we have awareness of our own feelings and our actions, we can better respond to the situation. And I want to be clear about something right now. This is a practice. You may have heard the phrase, practice makes perfect. Baloney. Practice makes better. So even though we have awareness of our emotions, it doesn't mean that we're always going to respond correctly. So we can take these situations, the time that we even fall short in the way that we respond to other people, and try to use it as a learning experience and thinking, what was I feeling? Why did I potentially lose control? And why did I respond the way I did? And how could I do it differently? Those are things that we can be thinking about. And I'm not speaking about this because I'm an expert, because anybody who knows me and sees me on a regular basis, you know that I'm not an expert at this. I am also sometimes the boat that bumps into other, and I am also the person who sometimes responds inappropriately. So today I ask us to think about that, to think about the pain and suffering of others, how others may be drifting in the sea of fog, and they may bump into us. And instead of focusing on blaming, maybe we can focus on how we respond to the situation to create the best possible outcome based upon the situation, instead of throwing gasoline on the fire and making it worse. I hope that that's something you'll think about today. I'll continue to think about it. And I hope the fog will lift from our minds and we will gain clarity for our own selves in how we deal with the times that we get hit in the fog by someone else. I hope this is something you will give real time to in your brain and give yourself some leeway and patience. And I hope you'll give me some leeway and patience as well. Well, that's what I'm thinking about. And I'll see you next time on the trail. La 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 la. Cootie, 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 cootie. La 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 la. Cootie, 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 cootie. You're an idiot. So I'm going to start off talking about a story that I heard